We're in the presence of the jury. Mr. Bahina is present along with the attorneys of record, and at this time the defense may call their next witness.
Defense calls Alejandra Cervantes.
Actually, let's stop here and I'll swear you in. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you make your way over to the chair, please. Go ahead, Ms. Fries.
Please state your full name.
Alejandra Cervantes Valle.
Alejandra Cervantes Valle.
Where do you live?
Vivo en Toledo, Iowa.
I live in Toledo, Iowa.
Who do you live there with?
¿Con quién vive ahí?
Con mi esposo y mis hijos.
With my husband and my children.
Your husband's name is what?
¿Su esposo cuál es?
Delfino Valle.
Delfino Valle.
Are you related by marriage to Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
¿Con Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
Sí.
Yes.
How are you related to Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
Relacionado a Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
Porque él es sobrino de mi esposo.
Because he's my husband's nephew.
So Delfino's nephew, is that right?
Es el sobrino de Delfino, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
ma'am, you do speak a little bit of English, is that right?
Un poquito de inglés, ¿es esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
You've kind of been a spokesperson for the family with
La
this.
persona que ha hablado, bueno, por la familia o representando a la familia acerca de esto, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
If a meeting is needed, I normally contact you.
Bueno, yo usualmente la contacto a usted.
Sí.
Yes.
And so you do speak some English, is that right?
Habla algo de inglés, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
What is your primary
Su
language?
idioma principal.
Español.
Spanish.
Were you born in the United
¿Nació en
States?
los Estados Unidos?
No.
No.
Where were you
¿Dónde
born?
nació?
En México.
In Mexico.
How is it that you ended up in Tama, Iowa?
En Tama, Iowa.
Mi papá nos aplicó para una visa a la cual calificamos y nos vinimos toda la familia para acá.
Well, my father applied for a visa for us, and we qualified, so we all came here.
So your entire family came to the United States together,
Todos vinieron juntos a los Estados Unidos.
Sí.
Yes.
and that was under lawful means?
Y esto fue por medios legales.
Sí.
Yes.
When did you come to the United
¿Cuándo
States?
viniste a los Estados Unidos? ¿Cuándo llegó?
En el 2003.
Interpret, wants to clarify. 2003 o 2013.
2003.
2003.
How old were you?
¿Cuántos años tenía?
17 años.
17 years old.
Where did you come?
¿A dónde llegó?
Marshalltown, Iowa.
Marshalltown, Iowa.
And since then, has the Marshalltown, Tama area been your home?
De Marshalltown y Tama ha sido su hogar.
Sí.
Yes.
How did you meet Delfino?
¿Usted conoció a Delfino?
Trabajábamos los dos juntos
We both worked together.
Where did you work together?
¿Dónde trabajaron juntos?
en una compañía que se llamaba JBS.
Well, at a company that was named JBS.
What did you do for JBS?
¿Qué usted hacía para JBS?
Labor.
Laborer.
What type of a company is JBS?
¿Qué es JBS?
Una procesadora de carne.
It is a meat packing processing plant.
So you and your husband both worked there, is that right?
¿Trabajaban ahí? ¿Es esto correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you work outside of the home?
¿Trabaja fuera del hogar?
En estos momentos,
At this moment?
Right.
Correcto.
sí.
Yes.
Where do you work?
¿Dónde trabaja?
Trabajo en un lugar que se llama Pilgrim Heights.
I work at a place that is called Pilgrim Heights.
What do you do for Pilgrim Heights?
Limpieza.
Cleaning.
Your husband, is he employed?
Sí.
Yes.
And where is he employed at, ma'am?
En JBS.
At JBS.
When approximately did you first meet Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
4, 5, 6, 7 años.
4, 5, 6, 7 years.
And is that the time that Cristhian Bahena Rivera came to the central Iowa area?
Sí.
Yes.
How did you find out that he was coming?
No recuerdo bien cómo fue.
Well, I don't remember well how it went.
Lo único que supe fue que él ya estaba aquí.
The only thing I knew is that he was already here.
Did Cristhian Bahena Rivera come by lawful means?
No.
No.
How does someone get from Mexico to Iowa?
Eso es lo que yo sé.
Well, this is what I know.
Yo no tengo esa experiencia,
I don't have that type of experience.
pero sé que caminan y cruzan la frontera.
But what I know is that they walk and they cross the border.
¿Cómo? No lo sé, yo no lo viví.
How? I really don't know. I did not live through that.
What is is it a coyote?
Sí.
Yes.
What is that, ma'am?
Una persona que tiene contactos, me imagino,
Well, it's a person that I imagine has contacts
y puede cruzar a las personas.
and can bring people across the border.
Now, when Cristhian Bahena Rivera came across the border, did he utilize a coyote?
No estoy segura.
I'm not sure.
Did the family have to produce money to get Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
Sí.
Yes.
And tell me what you remember from that.
Lo único que recuerdo fue que dijeron que él estaba aquí, que necesitaba dinero. No recuerdo cuál fue la cantidad, pero que se necesitaba dinero para que el coyote lo dejara estar aquí en los Estados Unidos.
Well, all I remember is that they said, that they needed money. I really don't remember how much, but they needed money for the coyote to let him stay here in the United States.
And did the family work together to get that money?
Oh, sí.
Oh yeah.
Now, Cristhian's parents are back in Mexico, is that right?
Sí, ellos siempre han estado allá.
Yes, they've always been there.
His father's name is what?
Eduardo.
Eduardo.
And Eduardo has brothers in Iowa, including Delfino, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
I'd ask the court attendant to bring up Defendant's Exhibit QQQ. And there's a screen in front of you, ma'am. Go ahead and take a look at it.
Uh-huh. Yes.
This is a picture that includes my client, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Your husband is also in that picture, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And are his other brothers, Cristhian's uncles, also in that picture?
Sí.
Yes.
Where is the picture at?
Fue en la boda de mi cuñada.
It was at my sister-in-law's wedding.
I'd offer Defendant's Exhibit QQQ.
Mr. Brown?
Judge, can I voir dire the witness on the date?
You may.
Ms. Cervantes, good morning.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Concerning the photo that you have on the screen, can you tell us when that photo would have been taken?
Fue en el 2016.
It was in 2016.
And it was at a wedding?
Sí.
Yes.
Judge, our objection would be to relevance based upon the timing of the photo. It's also improper character evidence, so that's the basis of our objection.
Ms. Fries, given the answer of the witness that this photo is from 2016, I'm going to sustain the objection on that basis. So QQQ will not be admitted into evidence.
Ma'am, are you close with Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
Sí.
Yes.
Before this happened, how often would you see him?
Cada semana.
Every week.
What about the family? Your husband's other brothers, are you close with them?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you all regularly spend time with each other?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have birthday parties?
Sí.
Yes.
Family celebrations?
Sí.
Yes.
When you have those parties, is it normally only Hispanic people that attend?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that because you have any bias or anything towards white people?
No.
No.
Why do you think it is that you spend time mostly with Hispanics?
Porque las personas que nos reunimos somos solamente la familia.
Well, because the people that gather together is only the family.
Now, Cristhian Bahena Rivera, you had never met him prior to him coming to the United States, is that right?
No.
No, I have not.
But once he came, you embraced him as part of the family, is that correct?
Sí.
Yes.
Why?
Porque era el sobrino de mi esposo.
Because he was my husband's nephew.
Did anyone in your family take Cristhian in to live with them?
Sí.
Yes.
Who?
Luis Medina.
Luis Medina.
And how is Luis related to the family?
Él es esposo de mi cuñada.
He is my sister-in-law's husband.
Since Cristhian Bahena Rivera has been in this country, has he been employed?
Sí.
Yes.
Where has he worked?
Sabía yo que trabajaba en una, nosotros decimos la lechería.
Well, I knew that he worked at we call it the dairy.
Ajá.
So he worked at the dairy for a while, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And was that in Brooklyn or was that a previous job?
De cuando yo supe fue en Brooklyn.
Well, what I knew about was from Brooklyn.
How often would Cristhian Bahena Rivera work?
Toda la semana.
All week.
Would his work take him every day?
Sí.
Yes.
Describe Cristhian Bahena Rivera's, how he is when he's with family.
Before she answers that, Judge, I'm going to object as improper character evidence on the specific instances of conduct.
Overruled. Witness may answer.
Alejandra, I'm going to re-ask the question. Describe Cristhian Bahena Rivera's demeanor or how he is around family.
Con la familia es muy, muy chistoso. Todo el tiempo hace juegos.
Well, with the family, he's very funny. He always is playing with the family. Uh-huh.
If he is with people that he does not know, have you seen him?
Yes.
Describe his behavior then.
Tímido, es muy tímido, callado.
He's very shy. He's shy. He's quiet.
So once people get to know him, he's more outgoing. Is that right?
Sí, ya cuando ella tiene confianza con las personas.
Yes, when he when he feels comfortable with the people, yes.
You understand that Cristhian Bahena Rivera has been charged with the murder of Mollie Tibbetts. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, when this woman went missing, did you see information about it on the news?
Sí.
Yes.
It was a compelling story.
Sí.
Yes.
How did you become aware that Cristhian Bahena Rivera had been sought by law enforcement?
Supe una vez que lo pararon para hacerle preguntas supuestamente él había dicho que de rutina.
Well, I found out once that he had been stopped to be asked questions, use routine questions.
Y la segunda vez
And the second time,
fue cuando ya nos habló mi cuñada que estaba en la estación de policía de Montezuma.
and it was when my sister-in-law called us and let us know that he was at the Montezuma Police Department.
So you find out that he's being brought in for questioning, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
As time goes on, do you become concerned for his welfare?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you go to the police department?
Sí.
Yes.
The police department, you said, is in Montezuma, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
What time did you arrive?
Yo llegué como a las 8:30.
I arrived there at like 8:30.
When you arrived there, was there anyone else in your family that was there?
Sí, mi cuñado,
Yes. My brother-in-law,
What is his name?
Luis Medina.
Luis Medina.
When you arrived there, were you even admitted inside of the building?
No, hay un pequeño, ¿qué se puede decir? Como un pequeño porch donde tú entras.
No. When you get there, there's a small, I guess you could call it like a small porch that you go into when you get there.
And if you go further inside a locked door, there's a waiting room with chairs, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
So similar to any waiting room in a doctor's office or a sheriff's office or a jail that you would wait for someone to come and get you, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Were you allowed admission into that waiting room where there were chairs?
No.
No.
So you stayed in the kind of porch area is what you're saying.
Sí.
Yes.
How long approximately were you at the sheriff's office?
Yo llegué desde las 8:30 hasta la 1:30 de la mañana.
I arrived there, I was there from 8:30 until 1:30 in the morning.
When you were there officers and did it appear there were things going on?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you attempt through any means to try to talk with an officer?
Cuando pasaban entre el lobby, sí.
When they went by and I saw them, yes.
Did they help you?
No.
No.
Were they able, did you ask them any questions or anything like that?
No.
No.
Now, ma'am, at Well, let me back up. You have Cristhian Bahena Rivera's phone number, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Would it be unusual for him to call you?
No,
No.
Would it be unusual for him to text you?
no,
No.
He's a young man, correct?
sí,
Yes.
Would he rely on you if he needed errands done or some help with things?
¿qué son mandamientos?
Like, what are errands?
Would he rely on you if he needed help with something?
Oh, sí,
Oh, yes.
For example, previously, I think he's asked you to buy flowers for him for a date. Is that right?
sí,
Yes.
And were you able to organize that for him?
sí.
Yes.
Do you remember approximately when that was that Cristhian Bahena Rivera had that date?
No, se me fue la fecha ahorita.
No, the date just escaped me right now.
Okay, sometime that summer of 2018.
En algún momento durante ese verano de 2018.
Sí,
Yes.
In any event, you and my client had fairly frequent phone contact, is that right?
Por teléfono muy frecuente, ¿así es?
sí,
Yes.
Did you try to contact Cristhian Bahena Rivera that night that he was taken into custody?
La noche que tomaron custodia de él.
sí.
Yes.
How so?
¿Cómo?
Le marcábamos.
We called his number.
Were you able to reach him?
Comunicarse con él.
No,
No.
How many times approximately did you try to reach Cristhian Bahena Rivera by phone or text?
Por mensaje de texto o por teléfono.
le llamamos varias veces.
We-
No recuerdo el número exacto.
We called him several times. I don't remember the exact number.
At some point in time, did a woman come out and speak to you while you were at the sheriff's office?
Estaba en la estación de policía.
Sí,
Yes.
Describe what the woman looked like and what she was wearing.
¿Y qué tenía puesto ella?
se veía joven,
She looked young,
como yo.
like me.
Traía una ropa azul. Recuerdo que traía una ropa azul fuerte.
She was wearing blue. I remember that she was wearing a strong blue.
I'd ask the court attendant to bring up Defendant's Exhibit II.
La prueba I del acusado.
Ma'am, what picture is shown in Defendant's Exhibit II?
La prueba I del acusado.
Veo a Cristian en una esquina y veo a la señora que habló con nosotros.
I see Christian in a corner, and I see the woman who spoke with us.
Now I'd ask counsel to bring up Exhibit JJ.
Que demuestra que trae la prueba JJ.
What's shown in those pictures, ma'am?
Es lo que se ve en esas fotos, señora.
Veo a Cristian de nuevo en la esquina y veo como que ella ya se va.
I see Christian again in the corner, and I can see that she's leaving.
Your Honor, I would offer Defendant's Exhibits II and JJ at this time.
Mr. Brown,
No objection.
defendant's exhibits II and JJ are admitted.
Permission to publish.
Permiso para publicar. Otorgado.
The woman that's in the blue in Defendant's Exhibit JJ is the woman that came and talked to you, is that right?
Para hablar con usted, ¿así es?
Sí,
Approximately what time did she come and talk with you?
¿A qué hora salió ella para hablar con usted?
como alrededor de las 10:30.
Like around 10:30.
When she came to talk to you, what did she say?
¿Qué dijo ella?
Yo le pregunté que si necesitábamos un abogado para Cristian.
I asked her if we needed an attorney for Christian.
Teníamos ya varias horas esperándolo.
We had been waiting for him for several hours.
Ella dijo,
Hang on. Can we approach?
Espere.
¿Nos permite acercar?
Yes, go ahead,
Our
Mr. Brown.
objection is based on relevance. And that this has previously been addressed by the court.
Sustained on both grounds.
Ma'am, after you talked with this woman, what did you do?
Ella dijo que no necesitábamos abogado,
She said that we didn't need an attorney.
que como en 10 o 15 minutos Cristhian iba a salir.
That in
Hang on a
Espere.
We've already addressed this at the bench. I would ask that the court take some steps to admonish the witness with regard to her answer. That would be consistent with your ruling.
So at this time, we'll do two things. The previous answer is stricken from the record. The witness is hereby admonished that, well, the witness should not be speaking about this subject, and we'll have the next question posed, and I think the attorney understands that, given my ruling, we should not be in this area. So go ahead.
All right, ma'am. It was a bad question that I asked, okay?
Okay.
Not your fault.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want you to tell the jury anything that Officer Romero told you.
Okay.
Okay.
But do tell them how long you talked to Officer Romero.
Muy poquito, menos de 5 minutos.
Very little, less than 5 minutes.
Did you ask when your nephew would be released?
Sí.
Yes.
And did you also ask to see your nephew?
No, no le pedí eso.
No, we did not ask her that.
After that conversation was done, were you offered any opportunity to see your nephew?
No.
No.
Did you continue to wait?
Sí.
Yes.
And you continued to wait in this little porch area?
Sí.
Yes.
At some point in time, did you and your family decide to leave?
Sí.
Yes.
And why?
Ya había pasado varias horas. Ya era alrededor de la 1:30. En ese momento pensamos que ya no nos iban a dar nada de información y decidimos irnos.
At that time, several hours had already gone by. It was close to 1:30 in the morning, and at that time we decided that they weren't going to give us any information, and so we decided to leave.
Were you ever able to reach Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
No.
No.
At some point later, did you find out he had been arrested for murder?
No.
No.
Now, ma'am, I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you aware of Cristhian Bahena Rivera's family in Mexico?
Sí.
Yes.
Who did he live with in Mexico?
Con sus padres y sus hermanas.
With his parents and his sisters.
Was he the oldest child of the family?
Sí.
Yes.
In a Hispanic culture, is it customary for the oldest sibling to take care of the family?
Por lo regular, sí.
Normally, yes.
Would you talk with family in Mexico?
Sí.
Yes.
And were you encouraged to take good care of Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
Sí, a mi esposo en especial.
Yes, especially my husband.
Why so?
¿Por qué?
Porque para todos los tíos que él tiene aquí, él era el más chiquito.
Because for all of the uncles that he has here, he's the youngest one.
So they wanted you to take him under your wing, is that right?
Que ustedes que lo acogieron bajo la ala de ustedes.
Sí,
Was
Yes.
was it your understanding that he was taking care of family in Mexico?
Estaba manteniendo a la familia en México.
sí.
Yes.
How so?
¿Cómo?
Él era el que mandaba dinero para que ellos pudieran comer y él fue el que mandó dinero para que construyeran su casa.
He was the one who was sending money so that they could eat, and he was the one who was sending money so that they could build their house.
No further questions.
No tengo más preguntas.
Mr. Brown, you may cross-examine.
Usted puede contestar.
Ms. Cervantes,
Señora Cervantes.
how old was Cristhian Bahena Rivera as of July 18th of 2018, if you know?
Si usted sabe, ¿cuántos años tenía Cristhian Bahena Rivera el 18 de julio de 2018?
No estoy segura, pero creo que como 20.
I'm not sure, but I think like 20.
So he was an adult. I'm sorry.
Sí,
Yes.
You were at the sheriff's office on August 20th of 2018 from 8:30 to about 11:30 p.m. Is that correct?
30 hasta las 11:30 p.m., ¿correcto?
hasta la 1:30 de la mañana.
Until 1:30 in the morning.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. 8:30 p.m. until 1:30 a.m. the next morning. Is that correct?
De la mañana al siguiente día, ¿es esto correcto?
Sí,
Yes.
And
Yes.
were you always there with the other person that you had mentioned before?
¿Con la otra persona que usted mencionó antes?
sí.
Yes.
Did you ever leave the sheriff's office at any time in that same time frame?
¿En algún momento durante ese tiempo?
No,
No.
Between 8:30 p.m. and about 11:30 p.m.,
11:30 p.m.
did you make or attempt any phone calls or text messages to Cristhian Rivera?
¿De mandar algún mensaje o de llamar a Cristhian Rivera?
de llamarlo.
Calling him?
And did he ever answer the phone?
¿Les contestó el teléfono?
No,
No.
Did he ever respond to the text messages?
¿Respondió algún mensaje de texto?
no,
No.
Did you meet
¿Usted
Pamela Romero
conoció
while you were at the sheriff's office
usted estaba en la
on
oficina del alguacil
August 20th?
el 20 de
2018?
agosto del 2018?
sí,
Yes.
She came out into the area where you were waiting.
Bueno, el área que usted estaba esperando,
sí,
Yes.
You had a conversation with her.
¿usted tuvo una conversación con ella?
sí,
Yes.
She was pleasant to talk to.
Bueno, placentera para hablar con ella.
sí.
Yes.
And do you know how long your conversation took with
Bueno,
Ms.
la
Romero?
conversación, ¿cuánto tiempo tomó con la señorita Romero?
Yo creo que menos de 5 minutos.
I believe less than 5 minutes.
And was that the only contact that you had with her on that evening while you were at the sheriff's office?
Esa noche, cuando usted estaba en la oficina del alguacil.
Sí,
Yes.
Prior to July 18th of 2018,
Del 2018.
how often in any given week
Bueno, en
would you be in the presence of Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
¿Cómo de seguido usted estaría en la presencia o en el mismo lugar de Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
una vez por semana nada más.
Only once a week.
Was that on average?
¿Esto es de promedio?
Sí, sí,
Yes.
And would that typically happen at your place of residence or some other place?
¿Vivía o en otro lugar?
siempre él venía a la casa de Luis.
He will always come to Luis' house.
Luis who?
Medina.
Luis Medina.
And tell us again who Luis Medina is.
Luis Medina, de nuevo.
Él, es mi cuñado.
He's my brother-in-law.
Did you know
¿Usted sabe
Cristhian Bahena Rivera to drive a black
que
Chevy
Cristhian
Malibu?
Bahena Rivera manejaba un Chevy Malibu negro?
Solo sabía que tenía un carro negro.
I only knew he had a black car.
Ms. Cervantes, thank you very much. That's all the questions I have.
Son todas las preguntas.
Ms.
Thank
Fries, any redirect?
Just briefly, during the times that you were around Cristhian Bahena Rivera, was he ever violent?
¿Él alguna vez fue violento?
No.
No.
Do you ever remember him fighting with anyone?
I'm going to object against the proper character evidence.
Overruled. Witness may answer if she knows.
Bueno, esto es negado. La testiga puede contestar si sabe.
No, él no era violento.
No, he was not violent.
Has he been respectful to your brothers-in-law and your husband?
¿Con sus cuñados y su esposo?
Sí.
Yes.
Around children?
¿Alrededor de
Oh,
niños?
sí.
Oh, yes.
Todos los niños lo querían.
All the children loved him.
He was a funny guy, correct?
Un tipo
Judge,
chistoso.
you can't
¿O no?
cite proper character evidence and specific instances of conduct are not admissible at this time.
Objection's overruled. Witness may answer.
La testiga puede contestar.
Go ahead.
Yes.
You enjoyed having him around, is that right?
Le gustó tenerlo a él. ¿Qué tenía?
Sí.
Yes.
No further questions.
Ms. Brown, any recross?
No recross, thank you.
Ma'am, thank you for being here. You're excused.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Okay, defense may call its next witness.
We call Iris Gomboa.
Ma'am, let me stop you right there and I'm going to swear you in, okay? Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. And you'll head right over to that chair, please. Right. Defense, you may proceed when you're ready.
Please state your full name and spell your full name for the record, ma'am.
Iris Monarez Gamboa. IrisMonarez
Where do you live, ma'am?
308 Mitchell Street, Southwest, Cedar Rapids.
Do you live there with anyone?
My boyfriend and my daughter,
What is your daughter's name?
Paulina.
And your daughter Paulina is how old?
She's 5.
Who is Paulina's father?
Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
Now, ma'am, you are here under a subpoena, is that right?
Yes.
And someone served you with a document saying that you must be here, is that right?
Yes.
I want you to take the jury through how you met Cristhian Bahena Rivera.
We met at a quinceañera, which is like a sweet 16. That's where we met.
And a quinceañera, that's a Hispanic celebration, is
Yes.
that right? I mean, there would be nothing that would stop me from doing the same for my girls, but that is something that a Hispanic family traditionally celebrates, is that right?
Yes.
Describe for the jury what the celebration is.
It's just pretty much like a sweet 16. You celebrate like going from like a little girl to like a woman, kind of.
So you happen to be at this party, is that right?
Yes.
And Cristhian Bahena Rivera also happened to be at this party, is that right?
Yes.
Approximately how long ago was it that you two met?
2013.
Once you met, did you hit it off?
Yes.
Exchange numbers?
Yes.
Start to date each other as a couple?
Yes.
At some point, did you end up moving in together?
Yes, when I got pregnant.
All right, and that's pregnant with your daughter, Paulina, is that right?
Yes.
Where did you two move in together?
At my mom's house.
And you lived there for a while, is that right?
Yes.
At some point, did you decide to establish your own residence?
Yes.
And how did you find a place to live as a family?
Well, he worked at the Yarby farm, and we lived on their property.
So he was able to work out something where he was able to live at Yarby Farms, is that right?
Correct.
How long did you and Cristhian Bahena Rivera reside together at that place at Yarby Farms?
From 2016 to 2017.
Your daughter lived there, is that right?
Yes.
Approximately how old was she when you moved there?
She was like a year, I believe.
And when you broke up, were you and my client able to co-parent your daughter as a mother and a father should?
Yes.
And specifically, Cristhian worked very long hours, is that right?
Yes.
When he worked and you were living with him, was he the primary support of your family?
Yes.
What approximately were his hours at Yarby Farms?
About 12 hours.
So he would go to work early in the morning, is that right?
Yes.
And then he would come home around dinner time?
Yes.
How many days would he work consecutively?
He would only get his days off every 2 weeks.
So every 2 weeks he would get
2 days off.
He'd get 2 days off.
Yes.
So it'd be 2 weeks on, 2 days off. Is that
Yes.
right? When you and Cristhian broke up, were you able to work out without involving the courts a parenting arrangement?
Yes.
And what did you two work out?
He would give me $250 every 2 weeks because he got paid bi-weekly.
So he'd get paid and he'd pay you every other week, is that right?
Yes.
So that amount to about $500 a month for the care of Paulina, is
Yes.
that right? Did Cristhian have other obligations, to your knowledge, to his family in Mexico?
Yes, he would send money to his parents, and he was also making a house over there for them.
And what do you mean he was making a house over there for them?
Yeah, he would send money and to start building a house over there for them.
Now, is it pretty customary for someone to be taking care of their family in Mexico, even if they're residing in the United States?
Yes.
Is it unusual for someone to have family in Mexico that would be a parent or a sibling that they care for?
Yes.
Ma'am, I hate to get personal, but I know you were brought to this country fairly early in life. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember, you weren't born here, right?
No.
Do you remember anything about coming to this country?
No.
Do you know how old you were?
A year and a half.
You are now a citizen, is that right?
No, I have DACA.
Okay, and describe what that is for the jury. They don't know.
It's authorization to work or go to school legally.
And that's something that you have because you've been in the United States so long, is that right?
Yes.
Do your parents enjoy the same privileges that you have?
No.
Your father, is he in this country?
No.
And why not?
He got deported.
How is it that he got deported?
I don't remember, honestly.
If someone is an illegal immigrant in this country, do they fear law enforcement contact?
Yes.
Why?
Because they know they'll get deported.
So if someone has law enforcement contact for even a routine traffic stop, is that something that somebody would be fearful of?
Yes.
Now, I asked you to provide, I'm sorry. Now, ma'am, I asked you to provide some pictures of you and your daughter and Cristhian Bahena Rivera. Is that right?
Yes.
And did you try to find the most recent pictures that you had available?
I mean, somewhat, yes.
I'm showing you Defendant's Exhibit BBB. Do you see that on the screen?
Yes.
And describe what that picture shows.
That was my daughter's second birthday.
And your daughter was 3 when Cristhian Bahena Rivera was arrested, is that right?
Yes.
So that would have been the most recent party that you attended together, is that right?
Correct.
Describe where that party was at.
That was at the Brooklyn Park.
Who attended?
Christian's family and myself.
Now there's a big gold thing hanging out in front of the photo. Can you describe what that is?
That's a piñata.
And what is a piñata, ma'am?
It's full of candy, and then the kids get to hit it, and then the candy comes out.
Is that something that's pretty traditional for a Hispanic birthday party?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd offer Defendant's Exhibit BBB.
Mr. Brown?
I ask a question of the witness, Your Honor.
Yes.
Ms. Gomboa, when was that photograph taken?
June 2016? No, 2017.
Your Honor, based on the age of the photograph, I'd object on relevance grounds.
Your Honor, I'd point out that my client, there's no pictures prior to August of 2018.
Based on that record, I am going to overrule the objection, and BBB will be admitted into evidence.
I'd move to publish the exhibit.
Granted.
And the photo's right in front of you, is that right?
Yes.
You and Cristhian, you were not together as a couple anymore in this photo, is that right?
Yes.
But you were still able to attend family obligations and family events together, is that right?
Yes.
How many people were at this party?
About 25.
And the family members would be who?
Like his aunts and uncles.
So it'd be Christian's family, is
Yes.
that right? And even though your daughter no longer sees Mr. Bahena Rivera, she still maintained a relationship with his family, is that right?
Yes.
You know Alejandra Cervantes, is that right?
Yes.
And she's somebody that you still are friends with, is that right?
Yes.
She spends time in different weekends with Paulina, is that right?
Yes.
And the rest of the family spends time with your daughter, is that right?
Yes.
And is that because you believe it's important for your daughter to know her father's family?
Yes.
Describe Cristhian Bahena Rivera's reaction in that photo.
He was happy that his daughter was happy.
It was a good day for you.
It was a good day, yes.
Describe his demeanor in general.
Can you repeat your question?
Describe how he was as a father in general.
He was a really good father. He was responsible, and he always looked after his daughter.
He made sure to take care of her, right?
Yes.
He would send you money even though there's no court order, right?
Yes.
Would he buy things for Paulina in addition to the support that he provided you?
Yes.
What sorts of things?
Like shoes, toys.
Has Cristhian Bahena Rivera ever been violent towards you?
No.
Has he ever been violent towards your daughter?
No.
Has he ever, I mean, I'm sure you two fought from time to time, right?
Yes.
There's a reason that you two broke up.
Yes.
But did Cristhian Bahena Rivera ever express any sort of anger that you believed was excessive?
No.
Other than the normal couples arguing, did he have any sort of anger problems?
No.
Now, you graduated from Brooklyn, is that right?
Yes.
Brooklyn is a high school that has a large Hispanic population, fair to say?
No.
Okay, approximately what percentage would be Hispanic?
Well, from what I recall, in my classroom, there were about 3 of us that were Hispanic.
And how many, what was your graduating class?
About 45 to 50 people.
Was race something that was talked about often in Brooklyn?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Sustained.
Ma'am, you associated with your class, is that correct?
Yes.
I want to ask you about a man named Ulysses Felix. Who is that?
That's my cousin.
And did he also go to Brooklyn High School?
Yes.
What year was he in relation to you?
I believe he was 2 years younger.
Did Ulysses Felix know Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
Yes.
Has Ulysses Felix spent time at Cristhian Rivera Bahena's house?
Yes.
Did Ulysses Felix know Dalton Jack?
Yes.
Objection. Speculation.
Overruled, the witness may know, may answer if she knows.
Yes.
Did you know Dalton Jack?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion as to Dalton Jack's demeanor?
From what I recall, I remember he was pretty racist.
No further questions.
Mr. Claver, any cross?
Yes, Your Honor.
Actually, before you do so, Mr. Claver and Ms. Fries, why don't you approach real quick? Mr. Claver, you may proceed with your cross-examination of this witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gomboa, you lived with Cristhian Bahena Rivera for 4 years, isn't that right?
Yes, about 4 years.
And you were familiar with the type of vehicle he drove?
Yes.
And that was a black Chevy Malibu?
Yes.
And can you tell me again the date that you broke up with Cristhian Bahena Rivera?
April of 2017.
And after you broke up, you didn't have very much contact with him, is that correct?
Whatever was related to our daughter, yes.
And how often would that have been?
Pretty often. I mean, throughout the week, he would text and ask about her. and on his days off, he would come for her.
Do you recall speaking with the defendant then in August of 2018?
Yes,
And during one of those conversations, the defendant told you that he had contact with law enforcement?
yes,
And that contact was regarding the disappearance of Mollie Tibbetts, isn't
I
that
believe
right?
so.
And this was prior to his arrest, correct?
Correct.
And you talked to law enforcement at some point in time, isn't that right?
Yes,
Would that have been in August and September of 2018?
I don't remember the exact date, but yes, around there.
And during those interviews with law enforcement, you were asked about the defendant,
Yes,
and you were asked about whether you were familiar with any mental health issues that he may have had.
correct.
And you stated that you weren't aware that he had any.
Yes,
And you stated in that interview you weren't aware of any periods where he claimed to have blacked out.
yes,
And you stated in that interview that you weren't aware of any periods where the defendant had memory issues, correct?
correct.
Thank you, Ms. Gamboa. I have no further questions for you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ma'am, thank you for being here. You're excused. Members of the jury, that completes our work for the morning. We'll be in recess for lunch until 1 o'clock. Want to remind you of your admonition. Make sure you're not discussing the case with anyone. Make sure you're not doing any type of independent research or having any media exposure. You leave your notebooks where they are. They'll be collected and held by the court attendant over the lunch recess. And again, let's be back here ready to go at 1 o'clock today. Thank you.